a presidential candidate getting shot at by somebody in his own political party. That's now multiple instances of violence that Trump has been involved with. He made comments about Hillary Clinton, suggesting a Second Amendment person go after her. He retweeted that truck with Joe Biden bound and gagged. He's repeatedly called for violence and praised the violent people at the insurrection trying to overturn the election. It's like at his center, he's all about violent rhetoric of retribution. You have Project 2025 that wants to gut all the government agencies and remove every part of the government that protects your average citizen. He's talked about using the military against protesters. So I think this is a chance to just get him and all of that violent, harmful rhetoric and just move it along. Even with the gun policy, Democrats have been trying to ban assault rifles. The largest donor recipient of the NRA in America is Donald Trump. This kind of chaos and violence and retribution and the whole we're at war rhetoric, he stands up there and says America's a third world country without him. His negativity and his calls to violence and the insurrection, nobody wants another 4 years of that guy being a bully with Project 2025 coming down the pipe. We're not doing this again, bro. We're not doing 4 more years of this kind of chaos, because this is what it is. This just exemplifies Donald Trump. We're seeing what's going to happen if Trump wins the presidency. There's going to be chaos and shootings, and maybe he's going to send in the military. Like, really? Like, come on, bro. This is America. If our leaders are so violence hungry that they're yelling fight, fight, fight after getting shot at, dude, that's like South American cartel shit, bro. Like, come on. Nobody wants that in the country. This isn't an MMA fight. This is the United States, man. And like Project 2025, we don't want this. We don't want never surrender shooting victim shirts. You're not supposed to wear shirts of assassinations. And the fact that they think this is cool, this is disgusting. This is South American cartel gangland kind of shit. Dude, it's gross. Everything about this just sort of reeks, dude. I swear to you, everything about this shooting, I don't really know about it being a setup, but there's a lot of this, though, that you got to ask questions. Like, not even about it being a setup, but about the people around him just being horribly incompetent. When you look at the site, just even looking at the site, that there was a rooftop there, and they didn't have that thing scouted out, you know, just a lot of failure. The shooter was up here on a roof, dude. Open shot. They never secured that location. It's just the general incompetence of Donald Trump, of everything Trump touches. If they're having an outdoor rally for somebody like this, the Secret Service would have guards on the rooftops. They would have all of these locations battened down, secured, guarded. They would be there investigating every spot. And especially since what happened with JFK in the 60s, dude, they don't around, bro. 400 feet, bro. And there's multiple rooftops over here. There's Trump's stage, a direct line, dude. But none of this was secured. This is so utterly ridiculous. 400 feet is nothing, guys. I mean, first off, the kid who did this was not a very good shot. An actual person who had any skill whatsoever could have easily taken out somebody. Easily. From that distance. That's not a hard shot for somebody that's even remotely skilled. Now, fortunately, this guy wasn't, you know, it's just ridiculous.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
there. Hold. When you're ready, on you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move.
Go. Up. Hawkeye's here.
See, here's the first part, okay?
We ready?
Is the way they lift him up here is weird.
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured.
Dude, like,
He is holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly.
like, so first off, he wasn't hit. He was not hit. All right. If he had been hit with the bullet, dude, his ear would be gone. Even if an AR-15 bullet had grazed him, he would have lost his ear. So let's just look at this. Obviously, nobody is staging a fake shooting. That's ridiculous. Anybody who claims this thing was staged, I don't know if he cut his ear. Somebody said a teleprompter shattered or whatever. I don't know what it was. I don't know what's going on with it, but that thing at the end, the way he gets up and his head was exposed and he's like pumping his fist and yelling fight. Why would he be yelling fight? Right? That's, you know what I mean? It's so dumb, bro. I don't like that attitude. I don't like that this shooting, you know, it appears like he thinks this is good for the cause or something. So dumb, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's so dumb. Look at this picture. There's not any blood on his shirt. I don't know if you've cut your ear before, but that shit bleeds. So to me, this was really weird that he's got blood on his face and his ear, but there's none in his hair. There's none on his shirt. That fist pump was weird. That's weird behavior. Dude, I was highly offended by this post, okay? This is Benny Johnson. Look at him. The fashion at the GOP convention is already fire. Get ready. And they're showing 3 women wearing a picture. A dude died. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're wearing this Never Surrender shirt. It's like, are you kidding me? Some dude who just went to a Trump rally is dead. And they're wearing shirts as though this is some cool thing of toughness. And to me, that's so off base. That's so off base. This is mental. These people are ghouls. And they think this is just some cool, like, Trump is a tough guy thing. It's so dumb. When to be honest with you guys, Trump himself is responsible for this. You know, his constant calls to violence, his constant discussions about violent rhetoric, and this idea that violence and criminality and, you know, the war, it's like a war. We're at war. They think we're at war. Do I think this will help him in the election? No. The way I see this is just a reminder of the kind of energy that Trump brings. Think about it. There's a whacked out Republican guy. Of course, it was a white Republican kid who was 20 years old, as it usually is. A white Republican kid tries to shoot a presidential candidate. He takes it to violence. The presidential candidate is injured. Another guy loses his life. And they're wearing shirts as though, like, yeah, we're winning the war. Like, this is disgusting. We don't want this kind of energy leading America. An energy of, like, retribution and, like, using dead people and people's tragic loss of life to somehow, like, prove our manhood. This is gross, dude. You know what I mean? Like, the lack of taste here. And Republicans, they think this is so, like, clever. And I think, if anything, it just shows you the kind of energy that Trump brings to the table. Dude, he brings desperate, warlike, violent to the entire table. Now, this shooter guy is really wild. If you look at it, there's so much about the Trump shooter that is strange. First off, they identified him as a 20-year-old Pennsylvania man. But where it gets weird is he was in a BlackRock video. There was a BlackRock ad at this guy's high school, and the shooter was in the BlackRock ad. Dude, you couldn't script this shit. This is the guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old. He's a Republican. There was a $15 donation in January of 2021. He would have been 17 years old at that time. So I don't know. I've heard reports that that donation was somebody else. It's weird that he's a Republican. I don't think it is, actually. Because if you look at almost all of the instances of domestic terror in America are executed by white Republican cisgendered men, are the guys who execute these kinds of terror attacks. They feed into that whole Republican warlike, Civil War-ish, war against the demonic influences kind of vibes. They're usually somebody that was really bullied or somewhere outside normal socialization, somebody who doesn't socialize well. And they fall into the Republican Party and they feed on that idea of power and retribution. Republicans are all about blame and projection. But here's where it gets weird, though. Look at this video. This BlackRock video was filmed at his school a year ago.
AP and honors.
Look at him right there.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You see that? There he is. There's the shooter.
They say that guy made this place a special place.
We're going to see him again. There he is. There's the shooter again. Right? There he is. Right? This is the guy right here. Dude, isn't that wild? Several former classmates appeared on national television Sunday, quickly casting Crooks as a stereotypical loner who was bullied heavily during his time at Bethel Park. One of them, Jason Kohler, told reporters Sunday that students tormented Crooks almost every day and that he often wore hunting outfits to class. He was just an outcast, Kohler said, and you know how kids are nowadays. Now, again, though, we hear this a lot when you have these right-wing guys that snap and they go off shooting. It's a pretty common, like, through line with some of these behaviors. And I hate to say this, though, but this is another reason why Trumpism really bothers me, because Donald Trump's entire ethos and methodology is about bullying. Everything he does, crooked Joe Biden, he calls Chris Christie a fat pig. He bullies women. He bullies his opponents. Everything about it, even the MAGA people online, they're ghoulish and they're all about bullying, and it's uniformly harmful. He was very kind. He was a nerdy kid, but I don't think he was as harshly bullied as some people are saying. He never wore trench coats or anything of the sort to school. See, that's just it, though. I don't think you need to wear trench coats to be hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like, trench coats is a little, I don't know, it feels a little theatrical. His career arc since high school is not entirely clear. He listed himself as unemployed, recently worked as a dietary aide at the nursing home, state licensed transitional care facility. See, that's just it, though. Like, this to me is kind of alarming. He's working at a nursing home as a dietary aide. And that's just like, it's not a job that a 20-year-old man should have. To be a 20-year-old that's like working as a dietary aide in a nursing home, you're lonely, man. You're not hanging around people your own age. That's like a depressed kid. You know what I'm saying? It's just really tough. I feel for somebody in that situation. He graduated from the Community College of Allegheny County 2 months ago. He earned an associate's degree in engineering science, right? So he's got an associate's degree in engineering, and he's working as a dietary aide in a nursing home. Like, he's just not well, man. I don't know. It's really interesting, though, to me, because I wonder about this situation. Like, what were the parents thinking about this, you know? Weren't they worried about their kid? Like, why does this kid, you know, have access to an AR-15? You know what I mean? I mean, it seemed like there's some loneliness and you know, separation going on with this kid where, you know, isolated in ways that if I was a parent, I'd be really concerned about. You know, he already had his associate's degree in engineering. Why would he be working a summer job at a nursing home? It's just a sign, dude. I'd be worried about my kid if my kid was 20 years old and wasn't out doing 20-year-old social things. I'd be worried about him. I don't want to pass judgment, but nursing homes, skilled care facilities for old people, they're like last destinations. You don't go out and seek there. You end up somebody like my mom, who was a woman who never graduated from high school. She didn't have any like deep education. She didn't have a lot of skills. Okay. So what you end up having is people that don't have a lot of skills, people that aren't employable, end up at nursing homes. They end up, those are like end of the line jobs. All right. In most instances, it's really sad because the care level is usually not very good for the old people, depending. A lot of these nursing homes are staffed by people that are very like, that's not a career they chose. They ended up getting stuck there. So like for a 20-year-old who just got his associate's degree in engineering and could be out there like being a computer programmer or some shit, right? And homie's like a dietary aide at a nursing home. It's heartbreaking because you just know that guy is not well. You know what I'm saying? You just know that he was not well. I don't believe Donald Trump is the path to peace. If you look at Project 2025 and you look at Trump, the way he talks in his rallies, the nasty shit he says, he is not a man of peace. And he's not going to be a man of peace after this. He's going to want more aggression. He is a man of aggression and hatred and distrust and animosity and retribution. 140 people that have worked for Donald Trump are part of Project 2025. He's intricately involved with Project 2025. And I think this is only going to make him worse. I think now that there was a shooting perpetrated, it's going to make him even more hostile because he's already pretty hostile, even with his own staff. If you go back and look at when he was president, he was constantly firing people. He was constantly at war with his own staff. And so I believe that this event is only going to make him more hostile and more retribution hungry. I mean, even when you look at his followers wearing it like a badge of honor, that's demented. These people are ghouls, bro. And these people are indicative of him. It's Donald Trump's behavior and his leadership and his toxicity that creates this type of fan base. The leadership begets the community. It's just a bad sign for American politics. This is not the world that we want, fomenting so much hate and animosity and calls for retribution and division that we start shooting each other. And we got to do something about the guns, bro. I'm tired of the NRA. Now the guy who received $500,000 from the NRA this year to keep those guns flowing almost takes a bullet. And that's stupid. And what's more, guys, you ready for this? You had all these Secret Service and snipers and local law enforcement who couldn't prevent a shooter from killing somebody. How the f*** do you think teachers are going to do? They want to arm teachers so we can maybe have this shit happen every other day in grade schools and junior highs and high schools around the country? Like, nah, f*** that, bro. We need to start doing something about the guns. And we need to start doing something about these retribution-loving, hate-spewing, far-right politicians. We need to boot their asses right on down the line. Kick the shit out of them in the ballot box. Do a little France and UK up in here and get rid of these people. Just this image right here, this image, like, I don't want any more of this, man. I don't. This is gross. This is not an appropriate response. He's like emboldened by it. If anything, he looks like now he feels like he has even more right to be a dictator, to instill Project 2025 and seek his retribution because now somebody came after him. It's disgusting, bro. I want less of this. I want as much less of this as possible. You know what I'm saying? The whole world is seeing what he's about, that he relishes in this shit, that this is what a future of Trumpism is going to bring. It's going to bring assassination attempts. It's going to bring violence. It's going to bring people like these ghouls, like these women. Look at this shit. The fashion at the GOP convention. We don't want to live in an America that's like this. This is not the kind of future we want, where we walk around wearing shirts that advertise assassination attempts as though it's cool.